We're factoring by grouping. Anytime you see 4 terms, you just automatically put it into 2 parentheses, right? So look at the first group. That's why it's called factor by grouping. You put it into 2 groups. Is there a number that you can divide, just number, that you can divide into 3 and 4? No. But you could always divide it by 1. So if there is none, just get used to putting 1. If you got 3 n's and you got 2 n's, how many n's do they have in common? They got at least 2 in common. So all factoring is kind of like reverse distributive property. You're just trying to take out what each group has in common. So you can take out n squared. How do you figure out what's left over in the inside, the leftovers? You can erase this. I was just explaining it. How do you know what to put in this? You divide by what you took out. Is that kind of making sense? So if you divide this by what you took out, you're really just reversing the distributive property. You're taking it out. So what's left over? 3 divided by 1 is what? 3. N to the third divided by n squared. It's just an n, just an n. You got 4n squared divided by 1n squared. 4, just a 4. This right here kind of gives you a clue on what to take out. So look at 9 and 12. What can you divide into 9 and 12, the largest? 3. Can you take out a letter? No. You can't take out a letter because this one has an n, but this one don't. They don't have a common variable. You take out a 3. And if you take out a 3, you can kind of see like this is going to eventually match. I mean these two. So if you take out a 3, then just divide each one by 3. 9 over 3, 3n. So that's how you know you're kind of doing it right. It's starting to match the first set of parentheses. And then 12 over 3, that's where you get minus 4. So once you got these two to match, then what do? So one of them is what they have in common, 3n minus 4,
And then you put the 1n squared.
1n squared, and it's a positive 3 right here, plus 3. That's it. Here's the last question. If I distribute all of this, guess what you get? The same thing that you began with. 2 parentheses, right? And then we'll just kind of go through it faster. 28 and 4, start with the numbers. What can you divide into 28 and 4? 4. So take out a 4, and then look at K3, K2. If this has 3 and this has 2, then how many can you take out? Dos. How do you say K in Spanish? And then do the same thing, 4k squared. Whatever you took out is what you divide by. I did realize some mistakes in the first period. They did this. 28 over 4 gets you 7k. And then someone canceled this all out. It doesn't cancel out. If you're dividing the same thing, it equals what? What is the same thing divided by the same thing? 1. So it doesn't cancel. It's really 1. So your goal in the other one is to get the same binomial, 7k minus 1. 35 and 5. What can you take out? What can you divide? ¿Qué puedes dividir con?
5.
35 y 5. If you just take out a 5, right? This is going to be what? Negative 7k, which does not match this. So instead of just a 5, negative 5. And then what are you left with? 7k minus 1. And here's your checkpoint. If these are not the same, then you did something wrong. You probably didn't divide by the biggest number. 7k minus 1, and whatever you took out in the front. 4k squared minus 5.